All right. This should be working now. Let's give it a second to catch up. Wait for the green light to come on. Okay, cool. I see myself. Let's see if people start popping in. Once again, a random live stream because reasons. Hey, Alan, how's it going? Everything sound and look okay? KWMTB, how's it going? Thanks for joining in a random live stream about cameras and probably just more camera stuff. I have a Rode NT1 microphone. It is a camera. It's a microphone that I picked up used a while back because I finally just decided to go all the way down the rabbit hole. But one of these days, I'll show you guys how to get away with using very affordable microphones and get pretty good results. I just like fancy things. Hey, Joe, how's it going? Wandering Pop, good to see you again. Good professor, look what you've got. Yeah, I just got done with work, and I'm going to film some stuff after this, but I have my camera. You can't see it, but there's a camera right here, and boom! I have a beer here. I have a left-hand milk stout nitro and a Bikes and Beers glass. Should have been camera and beers, but this is pretty topical considering my YouTube channel. And a wicked echo. Are you getting an echo? Echo. Should I check my sound real quick? Let me see. I wonder if sound from below. There we go. Thank you for pointing it out. Now I know where that was coming from. New rigs are always so much fun. Yeah, it's okay. It's fixed over here too. Just double checking. Thanks for pointing that out. All right. So, well, actually, let me do this real quick. So while I pour this beer tonight, I am going to make myself available to answer all sorts of camera-related questions, or sound questions, or just general mountain bike POV stuff. I've been pestered over and over again to do more camera stuff, and I am working on a camera video. I'm testing a bunch of different 360 cameras, but that's a slow-going test. So I figured this would be fun to hang out. My favorite so far. I won't go into detail because quite honestly, I still have... Hey, Alan C. Thanks. What's my favorite food? Ooh, that is a good one. Okay, no, I have a good answer for this. My favorite food is a breakfast burrito. My favorite meal of the day is breakfast. I feel it's a meal you can have any day, any time of the day, any day of the week without issue. And just a good breakfast burrito with eggs, scrambled of course, sausage, potatoes, and cheese, of course, smothered with some salsa of your choice. And yeah, a nice cup of coffee. That is my favorite food. Hopefully that's a good answer right there. Good question. Save the details. Yes, of course, I will be saving the details for my full video. And quite honestly, I have a lot more to test. So I actually have two favorites. One for just how it feels, and the other one for like the actual performance for the cost. And that's about as much as I'll give. Sorry, guys. Yeah, breakfast burritos are awesome. What's up, Backyard Shredder? Oh, look at that nice milk mustache. All right. So you saw from the thumbnail, I have a bunch of cameras, and I think I'll start with actually the one that got me going on my channel, believe it or not. That is going to be actually two cameras, but they are basically the same. This is the Sony AS100, and this was a 1080p camera that was actually the first action camera that really became popular that had built-in image stabilization, digital image stabilization, which is not too different from the kind that GoPro put in the 6 and the Hero 7, which they've just polished off. So yeah, this only films in 1080p, but it films in 1080p 60, and this is its little brother. I think this is this the AS? Now I'm getting my model numbers screwed up. Check the bottom here. Yeah, so this is the HDR AZ1, and this is literally just the little brother to the AS100. It is ridiculously cheap to find these guys. If you are on a bare bones budget and you want something that has some sort of built-in stabilization, but like a Hero 6 or a Hero 7 is still a little bit out of your budget, these cameras, I still use these sometimes when I want to get a angle where there's a decent risk that I might damage my camera. I'll use one of these guys because it's pretty similar sized to the Session, which sadly isn't made anymore. This was a great camera, and it's got a few dents in it to prove its worth. But yeah, so these two Sony cameras are really awesome. Actually pretty good sound. Both have phone apps so you can check everything on it. So those are the two cameras that I started out with. What cameras do you guys want to see next? I have a ton of cameras in front of me. I probably could grab something from my collection if you want to see something specific right now. So I'm going to take a sip of beer while y'all decide what you want to see. Yes, John, it's not the Fusion, though the Fusion really isn't that bad. What do I use for vlogging? Believe it or not, this guy, my cell phone. Actually, let me get rid of that. Don't want to put anything on camera. I have a little bit of a wallet thing here. Yeah, my cell phone actually. I use this guy all the time for vlogging. I'll use the back camera. It has 4K. The front camera has 1080p. And I'll just scale it up to 4K if I need to. If I am if I know that I'm going to be vlogging on and off all day, I will use the Session, and I'll just put it in, I'll put the white balance to native if I know I'm going to be moving in and out of rooms. Now, if you're not familiar with white balance, it's definitely something that you should learn about if you get a GoPro that allows you to adjust it. That is really why colors pop on some people's videos, because they get the color balance just right for the atmosphere or for the scenery that you're in. So yeah, this is what I use for vlogging. The sound isn't that great on it because of the waterproofing, but man, if it is not super convenient to just press the darn button and it just starts recording, which this guy hasn't been turned on for a while, so it's dead. Is it still on? Let's see. Does it still have a charge? No, this guy is dead. So yeah, that's what I use for vlogging. Any other questions on vlogging in mind? So yeah, so here's the thing. My idea of vlogging and other people's idea of vlogging is a little bit different. I do have the camera pointed at me, but usually I have it set down somewhere. And so I'll carry around a tripod, a small tripod, have this guy in its case, and I'll just set it down on a table, twist it around a branch, wherever I manage to find an interesting spot to stick it. So that's how I vlog with this guy and get around that. Have I been able to use Final Cut Pro on my Hackintosh? Yet? Yes, I have. I haven't fired it up in a while because I haven't needed to. When I start working with the Rilo footage, I'm going to fire up my Hackintosh and use their new desktop app, because they've finally gotten around to creating a desktop app after over a year of people clamoring for it. What is your opinion on the ASCO V50 Pro? Let's look that up. Let's see. Do I have... Let me find this. I'm going to duplicate this guy real quick. And I'm going to get a Internet Explorer going. I'm going to search for that. because I think I know what you're talking about, but I want to make sure before I start spouting off nonsense. Because I believe that is like one of those super affordable cameras that, yeah. So this guy. Okay, I have seen this guy, and let me show you guys what I'm looking at. Get a screen share going here. There we go. That's better. All right. So this is this kind of new GoPro knockoff. A new one comes around every once in a while. Like we saw the Yi, and the Yi 4K was kind of one of those ones where everyone was a little bit suspicious of it. But I have not personally tried this. I'm always nervous about these things. Here's the thing you need to understand about a lot of these GoPro knockoffs. They do one of two things to get better stats, where they can say it records at 4K or 1080p 60. A lot of them use a chip that was designed to only encode like 720p, and then they essentially do one of two things. They overclock it, which is not a good idea because it's super sketchy, and basically it means make the processor run faster than it's supposed to. And then that way they can try to eke out a little bit more performance and have it record at 1080p. Or they record in 720p and then just blow it up and save it as a 1080p file, and it looks all blocky. I've always had really bad luck with these off-brands, so I generally tell people, if you're hard-pressed for cash, don't buy it. Don't be the guy that takes a bullet, unless you buy it through Amazon and it has a really good return policy. So I would say keep an eye on it, because I am, but maybe don't jump on it. Wait for someone else to give the good word on it. Let's see. Sorry, something's messing up on my monitor. There we go. That's somewhat better. All right, let me catch up. You're very smooth voiceovers, don't stutter or pause. Any advice for me if I'm not the best at it? I've had a hard time speaking smooth and clear. Alan, this is actually a great question, and the short version is practice. I know that's not the answer you want to hear. I was a terrible public speaker, and I was in the middle of a conference call where my boss wanted me to just make it through one slide that had like maybe 6 bullet points. I made it through about 3. I got so nervous that my voice I lost my voice. It locked up, and my boss had to finish it for me. So what I did from there was I just learned about every great public speaker out there, read how they managed to speak so well, and then just took every opportunity I could to do public speaking. So that's what I recommend for you. As far as doing voiceovers, here's the ugly truth. There's like 20 takes for the good one. Like I'll do it over and over again, do different deliveries. And then once I have one that sounds good, I'll save it and I'll do a couple more, because then I'm in the groove, and then I'll select the best one from those 3. And that's how I do voiceovers. Also, if you have a paragraph, don't try to do the whole paragraph. Break it up, write your scripts so you can like get 1 or 2 sentences in, and then there's a natural pause. That way you can catch your breath and then start recording again after that and just splice it together in post. Hopefully that helps. I have one that's Oh, so you have one. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to crap on it. How do you think about it? Because quite honestly, I haven't tried the V50 Pro, so I'm very interested to know what you think about it. If you have any experience, definitely would like to start hearing some good stuff. Sweet infinity shot. Yeah, I try. If you can only have one camera, which one would you choose? I could answer this question multiple ways. If I can only have one camera, it would probably be my cell phone. Just because of the fact, you're welcome, Alan C, by the way. Just because of the fact there's that old saying, the best camera to have is the one with you. Yeah, I can't get POV with it, but with a tripod, I can set this up on the side of the trail. It's always going to be with me. And quite honestly, camera phones have come such a long way in just the past 5 years. you can start a whole YouTube channel with these guys. So if I only had to choose one, it would be my cell phone. Kind of ridiculous considering how much camera gear I'm surrounded with, but I'm a big proponent of use what you got. Let's see. What camera is best to kill a bear? Just asking for a friend. I would recommend the GoPro Fusion. This thing is built like a tank. It is heavy, and quite honestly, if you break it, you're not going to be that broken up about it. Just make sure you have a good warranty replacement policy on it, and you'll be fine, Josh. But this thing has some freaking heft, let me tell you. Woo. That's one thing I actually need to bring up in the video where I compare all the 360 cameras is their weight. Nice. Yes, Shane, that's fine though. Best POV for someone just thinking of starting out to record their rides. I said it at the beginning. Let me get this guy going. I said it at the beginning. This Sony HDR AZ1 or the AS100, which is the bigger guy, these things can be found super cheap online, used or new. Record 1080p 1060. That is more than enough to start a YouTube channel. They have built-in image stabilization where it's digital stabilization, just like the Hero 7. So it's not quite as smooth as the Hero 7, but keep in mind these things came out in like I think it was like 2012 that this camera came out. So it's been out for quite a while. So considering that GoPro just got to implementing that is kind of saying something. Let's see. Oh, you like it so far. Cool. I'll have to check out, excuse me, a little bit of a beer burp. I'll have to check out your channel after this, man. Take a look. I've been wanting to see if anyone has some good feedback on it. Yeah, John, I agree. Cell phone 360 cameras are still kind of one of those things where they're new. This one kind of looks like a minion with its little haircut. They're still new. The image quality compared to something like a GoPro is not going to be that good, but the functionality makes it a very compelling argument. This only captures one direction. This captures everything. A lot of the new cameras that are shipping have a lot of slow-mo options. This one allows you to film in log, which is essentially a special setting for the camera where it doesn't look as vivid. It actually mutes a lot of the colors and everything. But what it does is if you know how to color grade or you want to learn how to color grade, it gives you a little bit more range to bring up shadows and bring down highlights and bring out colors. But not all log flat profiles are created equal. But that's a whole nother conversation. Ooh, okay, here we go. This is a good one. It's great cramming need to set the white balance out of image stabilization. It's pretty good. Cool. And KW, what's your name, by the way? KW is going to be your nickname if I don't have a good name to call you. GoPro Fusion versus Rilo. That's a tough one. If you have the extra money, you have a good computer to process it, and you're really looking for the best image quality possible, the Fusion. If you are looking for something to literally just go out, actually hang on, there's the Rilo and the Fusion. Oh my gosh, so many cameras that I can't keep track of them. There it is. If you just want something that you can press a button and go, the Rilo. This thing is like foolproof. Just press the big button on here and it starts recording. This guy takes a lot more patience and practice and then a lot more work after you get off the trail. The prices are actually starting to get pretty comparable. I don't know if Rilo is still going for $400. They lowered their price for Christmas, and because quite honestly everyone's starting to lower their prices now because competition is starting to get pretty fierce. No, I am surprised. The Rilo is back to $500 on Amazon, and the Fusion is going for $600. We'll round it up to $600. Let's be honest about that. It's $600. So the price difference really isn't that much comparatively. But yeah, if you're looking for a foolproof camera, the Rylo. If you're looking for something that is more of a prosumer camera, this offers a lot more options. If you're looking for something in between, I know Rylo is kind of like the big thing right now. Also, let me get full disclosure. I am a ambassador for Insta360, which means that I am naturally a little bit more biased to Insta360 products. However, I always want to make sure someone buys the correct tool for the job. So based off of everything that I know, this is kind of in between. This guy is completely foolproof. Press a button, go. This guy takes a lot of patience, to be honest. This guy sits right in the middle, where if you want it to be foolproof, you can use it like a Rylo and just press the button, or you can start unlocking some of the extra features and use it like a Fusion. The image quality, I'm still testing that, but I would definitely say the Fusion has the best image quality of everything on this table right now as far as 360 cameras. All right, so I'm gonna get off that tangent now. Let me catch up with the chat. What are your thoughts on mirrorless? Mirrorless is just another technology that accomplishes the same objective of taking a photo. A lot of people use DSLR and mirrorless interchangeably. Same sensors. It's basically the same sensors, just different ways that it gets the image to your eye before it takes the photo. DSLR has a little mirror where light comes in from the lens, bounces up to a little prism viewfinder, and comes out at your eye. A mirrorless camera, which I actually have one somewhere. I had one. I got one right here, I know. Where is my Panasonic? There it is. Here we go. Here's a GH5 just kicking around because that's what normal people have. Anyways, mirrorless camera. All it is a sensor. So that's a little bit of more than you asked for. But that's just a pet peeve of mine. Not a pet peeve. Not getting mad at you. Just something that I like to educate people on if they don't know. M50. I haven't used it. I've looked at it. It's got a lot of good features on it, but right now Sony just launched the new A6400 that has some really compelling features if you're on a budget. So I would recommend looking at that and adding it to your list and kind of compare. I haven't used it, so I can't really tell you exactly. It's not a bad camera, but there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipe. Let's see. Alan C, thanks. Glad you really like the Pros Closet. I've been really liking them. S-Log. Oh, S-Log. We're not going to touch on that, Shane, because that's going to go down a huge rabbit hole. I need to catch up. Kaylin, good to know. S-Log. Best third-person camera. I'm going to say the cell phone again. Everyone's got one. If you're looking for something to carry out on the trails, Canon GX7 Mark II. The Mark III's coming out soon. The Sony RX100 Mark V is a great one. Panasonic makes a bunch of... Hey, Phil. How's it going, man? Let's see. Where was I going? Oh, yeah. Panasonic makes a bunch of great affordable kind of little brothers to the GH5, like the G85, the... what was it? Is it the GX7, G7X? There's a bunch of cameras out there. Quite honestly, it's always about finding the camera that fits your budget and has the features you're looking for. Who's your favorite video photography YouTuber non-mountain bike? Peter McKinnon Definitely, I watch him. Caleb from DSLR Video Shooter is another great one. Man, Caleb, I think Caleb and I are kindred spirits. We both like obsess over stuff, and like for us, as much as we can flex our cinematography skills, most of the time we just get so obsessed with the geekiness of it all. So there you go. How's the audio compared to the Hero 4, Hero 7? Same question, and for the Insta360. I am actually still doing tests. I'm going to be doing a big roundup of 360 cameras. Then I'm going to compare the Insta360 X1 next, or 1X, next to the Hero 7 with, and Phil knows about this, with this little guy. So yeah, I took my Insta360 1X and I took the Hero 7 Black Edition, put it right there so you guys can actually see it, out on a bike ride. I bolted them to my chest because that's how I do, and tried it with just the internal audio on the 7 and of course the Insta360, and then I connected this guy to the 7 just to compare. I'm going to be making a video on that. So you will be able to decide for yourself which is the best. Quite honestly, I don't know yet because I'm still going through the footage myself. It's kind of fun. We'll all learn something. Let's see. Good starter camera. Once again, cell phone. This is kind of the same thing I told the crashing dad, Shane. Learn. Here, let me get rid of this. Steady spin, always solid insight from you on products. You're welcome, man. Glad I could be a resource. Back to good starter camera. Cell phones have come such a long way that, quite honestly, you can learn so much just by using them and learning from them. A lot of the cameras have kind of built-in pro settings, but if you really want to start getting clever, here are two things that I would like you to Google. There is, hang on, sorry, people are suddenly texting me all of a sudden. I need the notifications to go away. So here we go. There's ProShot, and then, so Filmic Pro. This is something that everyone should play around with. It is a paid app, but this unlocks so many features on your cell phone, and they do have what's called like the Filmic Pro test app, where literally it's just an app that installs, checks your camera, and makes sure that it's compatible. Most modern cell phones are actually pretty good on their own, but this just unlocks it a little bit more. And yes, you won't be able to get like the super bokeh Peter McKinnon shots, but I always remind people that I shot my Bellingham video with a cell phone and a GoPro and a gimbal. Like I didn't use all this fancy camera stuff. I actually left it at home and just took a cell phone. And quite honestly, it made me really pay attention to what I was shooting instead of obsessing with the settings, just focus on the shot. So that's my starter camera. It is a cell phone, but you learn so much by being just a little bit limited, and it's basically free because you know, basically everyone has one. So that'd be my recommendation, because all the concepts carry over to a bigger camera. You don't have a phone and you're 13? I don't know how I feel about that. On the one hand, it does suck, because, you know, phones are really handy to be able to keep in touch with everyone. At the same time, sometimes you become a slave to it, man. That camera that you have, though, definitely is plenty for getting started. So you're on a good track, man. Don't stress it too much. Phones can sometimes be a little bit worse than you think. All right. Yes. Phil, how are you liking that new A7 III? I know my buddy Paul loves it. MLC Adventures, welcome to the live stream. Wandering Pop, yeah. I actually have a whole bunch of Moment lenses right back here. I can actually grab one real quick. So this is another reason why cell phones are so awesome. So some of you may have noticed that I have kind of a fancier phone case, and that's because I can attach lenses to it. That's how much of a camera geek I am. They don't make the image quality better. I want to stress that right away. These will not make your image look better. What they are just different focal ranges. So like this is kind of a tele lens. So basically it's like having what's referred to as a long lens, something that zooms in really far and makes things look really tight. So you can kind of, if I can take a photo real quick. You can kind of be able to adjust how your phone looks. So let's say you're out on the trail and you're filming a lot and you say, man, I really wish I could just get a wider angle or get more of the trail in the shot without having to back up so much. You get a wide angle lens, which is basically the opposite of this, which they do sell, and you stick it on there and it makes the image wider, so it captures more. Or if you're like, man, I really wish I could zoom in a little bit more without having to use the pinch and zoom, tele lens. It does not make the image better. It just adjusts the image so you can get the look that you're wanting. They are a little bit expensive though. It's about $100 per each one of these. So at that point, you might want to decide which do you want more, one of these or a GoPro. Let's see. Okay. MLC Adventure. So I do have a question for you. I have my GoPro setting dialed in, video looking great. However, I have a hard time exporting the video without losing quality. Export settings advice. Okay, MLC, I'm going to ask a favor. Tell me what editing software you're using and just a high level of the settings. And once you have that in there, I'll get back to you on that. No, Good Trails. I do not live in a Best Buy. They kicked me out. Anyways, let's see. My writing camera list started with a Fujifilm XP20 contour POV camera. Hated it. I'm new to Fujifilm. I'm actually filming. Can I do? Yeah, there we go. Actually, this is my Fuji right here. Hang on, let me show you guys. I have it kind of mounted up a little bit interesting. Like, you might be able to see it. It's right here. It's hanging out right up here. So it's all pointed down like that. Pretty clever. So I know that Fuji wasn't really the best with... Fuji has only recently gotten into video. Like the X-T2 was their first decent video camera, and then the XH1, I think it was, and now they're working on the XH2. I have the XT3, and the XT4 is probably going to be a beast. So yeah, they're mainly good for still photography. Phil, I've been loving it with the 1635 lens. Ooh, that's a good one. It's a Swiss Army knife. There's some cool settings to crop into APS-C, to zoom in, and combine with Sony Clear Zoom. There's quite a bit of range. Yeah, Sony has a lot of quirks, but man, they bake in a lot of functionality, and their glass is getting really, really good. With the A6400 coming out, you have such a wide range of lenses to buy from. MLC Adventures, just to subscribe. That's awesome. So yeah, I'm glad you're loving it. I definitely considered moving to Sony. It's the 4K 60 that kept me from going. As soon as Sony offers that, you might see me switching brands. We'll see. Oh yeah, nice Wandering Pop. You got the wide angle. Now I ride with my phone and either GoPro here back and love the 7. Yeah, Bundy, I mean, a camera phone and a GoPro is really all you need to do a YouTube channel. All this other stuff is great. It unlocks other things, but having a cell phone and GoPro doesn't exactly limit you from getting creative. Wow, you're from England and it's 3 a.m. Thank you for joining. It's hopefully you can wake up and go to class tomorrow if you're 13. I believe you have school. Yeah, the Hero 7 is great. Hopefully GoPro can still dial in the audio a little bit more. Okay, here we go. MLC Adventures. I will keep my promise. DaVinci Resolve 15, format MP4 codec, H.264, resolution, frame rate. What bit rate are you saving in? Because are you saving... Also, are you doing 1 pass or 2 pass? And what bit rate are you saving at? Because I think that might be your problem. Huh. No worries, MLC. Wandering Pop, thanks for joining another impromptu random live stream. Oh, hey, I just hit 7,000. Woo! Cheers to you guys. Clink. That was awesome. I was actually keeping an eye on that throughout the day. It was kind of one of those things where like it was bouncing up and down a little bit. 4K 100 megabits per second, man, I would love to see that come out. A little bit better of bit rate, definitely. Although, quite honestly, if I had to choose between higher bit rate and audio, I would definitely choose audio any day of the week. Chugged beer. I'll chug a little bit, maybe. Phil, I don't go to school. I'm homeschooled. You know what? Funny enough, I was actually homeschooled too. And I was a little bit of a brat growing up, which is why my spelling and math wasn't that great, because I didn't want to do my homework. So do your homework. Even though I turned out okay, still do your homework. And listen to your mother. Skills with Phil. I'd like to see more brands offer 2.7K video recording options. Really not sure why it's not more standard. You know, Phil, I definitely agree. It's frustrating because, like, okay, the GH5 can record 1080p. Was it 120? Yeah, it was the GH5S that had like the 190 recording, I think it was. No, it was 240. GH5 was 190, GH5S was 240, I believe. Anyways, it's great and all, but 1080p is definitely potato vision when you're filming at such high frame rates like that. So it'd be nice to have kind of like an in-between where it's like, okay, I don't want super slow motion, but I'd also like really good quality. So give me something that's faster than 4K 60, like maybe a 90 frames, 92 frames, somewhere around there, maybe 90 frames per second, 2.7K. And then if I need something faster, I'll go to 1080p. Just like you go from 4K to 1080p to 720 when it goes up to like super fast filming. What's your favorite GoPro Hero 7 setting? What's my favorite GoPro Hero 7 setting? I don't know. I haven't gotten to know which menu option is my favorite. Are you like asking like what's my overall favorite settings, like plural, like how do I set up the GoPro? Because it's pretty standard. Oh, I need to charge this guy. It's pretty standard. Zoom in really quick. Who's calling me? Someone's calling me. I don't want to talk to you right now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's like a favorite setting that I have for the GoPro. Yeah. Oh, here's a fun little setting, which I always forget about. If you press and hold on the screen, you can unlock spot meter, which in certain circumstances can actually be really, really handy. If you're getting some really weird exposure issues where like it's too dark or it's too bright, you can definitely use that spot meter. And basically it just makes it so that way the camera focuses on a smaller part of the screen to figure out what to set the exposure to. So there you go, a little tidbit. All right. Kevin, that one, it's, you know, funny enough, it's just silent. That's why I always miss your calls. No, just kidding, buddy. So you know, definitely this is nice. The Hero 7 definitely was, quite honestly, what the Hero... I don't have a Hero 6. This is the Hero 5. The Hero 7 is what the Hero 6 should have been, and the Hero 7 should have been something a little bit more interesting as far as I'm concerned. But I think GoPro definitely stretched themselves too thin. They tried to make all these different products and failed at all of them. So it's kind of one of those, you know, instead of paying attention to what their goals were, they just started getting greedy. So I don't know. By the way, who here has actually watched my ramblings on GoPro audio? I made quite a few videos on it. BKXE has recently been trying to get good audio out of the Hero 7, and I realized he probably actually has not watched my videos on it, because he'll like find out about something and mention it, or ask a question in kind of this little social group that we have, and I'll kind of be like, well, my video talked about that. What do you mean, man? Why didn't you know about this? So yeah, I've been giving Brian a little bit of crap. Let's see if I can actually get this guy open. Oh, if I can do it right. Let's see if I can do this without spilling my beer. I might have to get a tool out. You're supposed to just be able to twist to get this lens off, but it doesn't really come off that easy. I might need to get a screwdriver out. Let's see if I can do it with this. This is you know, standard policy, right? Just use whatever tools you have laying around. Come on. Kids, don't try this at home. There we go. So yeah, one nice feature about the GoPros, if you didn't know it, you can actually take these guys off and replace them. And then here's the Hero 5. I'm gonna peel this guy off. Put it on a chest mount and crash. It will come off. Yeah, that's one way to remove it, right? Which I will say it again. Please don't open up your GoPro like this. I am a trained internet idiot. I get all the people at Pinkbike and Reddit riled up when I give opinions. So yeah, there is a lot of interesting features about the Hero 5 that is on the Hero 7. Here's the wind microphone, and then the two stereo microphones. A lot of people have audio issues with the Hero 7 because of the fact that they leave the audio settings in auto. So I guess I do have a favorite setting. If you go into your GoPro and you change your audio settings, where is that one? Oh, here we go, under mics. Most of them ship with it set to auto. Change it to stereo. That'll fix half of your audio issues right there. So that's probably my favorite GoPro setting, because it's, when you actually understand what's happening, it makes so much sense. So when you have it to auto, you have these three microphones here, and the GoPro is going to try to mix all of them together and find the best sound. The problem is that it sucks at doing that. So that's where you get that garbled, like, sound on the Heroes from the 5 to the 7, because it's trying to mix like 3 different channels and just doing a terrible job at it. So when you switch it to stereo, it'll only focus on these two microphones, and it sounds just so much better. This microphone here is a wind microphone because it's actually meant for higher pressures. So that's why it doesn't sound as good on top of all that. There's a ton of things that I found out while taking these guys apart, and I wish Brian would have just asked me. Would have saved him so many days of struggling through that. Cody Blue has a good video on getting better audio for the 7 as well. I will have to check that out. I'm always interested in peer review. I never try to sound like I know exactly what I'm talking about. I just like to share my experiences. And whenever someone proves me wrong on something, I actually really appreciate it, because then I stop the false information getting spread all over the interwebs where poor defenseless YouTubers can get hurt. Does this void the warranty taken apart? Absolutely. The second you peel this off, it is no longer waterproof. Yeah, basically, like, if you just want to take this lens off because you cracked or need to replace it, you're probably fine. But if you take off this front section here, yeah, they're going to know. Trust me, they're going to know. Especially if you start doing things like drill holes into it and then remove the waterproofing from your GoPro. That's also definitely a great way to void the warranty. Like I said, I made a whole series of videos on these. If you have not, go check them out. They're on my channel, and you can learn a lot about it. Learn from my mistakes. Don't make your own. Unless they're new mistakes, which still don't do them if you don't want to break your GoPro. Defenseless. Yes, Brian is not defenseless. He's super swole. Super swole. All right, I have been droning on for probably about 45 minutes. 46 minutes with 22 people watching. Appreciate it. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up this live stream in the next 10 minutes. So if you have any more questions, let's see. Oh, MLC Adventures. I'm sorry, man. I did not see your comment here. Let's see. I think the bitrate is 10. No idea what 1 or 2 pass is. Okay, MLC Adventures. Let me know if you're still on. I want to answer your question with you on. If not, hopefully you'll come back and finish watching. Because there's actually some good information that I have for you that may solve your problem. But yeah. Exactly, Bundy. Exactly. Best camera for mounting on your dog? Literally any 360 camera. I mean, all of them are... You could argue that some of them have better stabilization, but quite honestly, you got to have them side by side and really pay attention to be able to notice. Oh, MTB Cincinnati. I will repeat the answer that I gave because I gave it earlier. Cell phones. Cell phones are always great. Get a cell phone mount for a tripod. Get one of those $20 UFO. Just Google UFO tripod in Amazon and you will find it. In fact, let me just try it here. There we go. UFO tripod. Oops, did I type in the wrong field? Yes, I did. There you go. Like first results. This guy. Basically all of... There's like multiple brands that make the same version of this tripod. It's like 20 bucks and it is super awesome. Just find the one that comes with a cell phone mount. I think this might be one. No, not that one. I haven't used that one. I wouldn't recommend it. But yes. Oh yeah, here we go. There's a great example. Get one that comes with this cell phone mount. There you go. Just use that. Super inexpensive. I'm hoping to get a 7 after first consulting with you on purchase. Totally, Kevin. Totally. And we still need to go riding. Hopefully you're feeling better. When is the 360 videos coming out? Flowrider, the 360 video, I am sending back Ryan's camera. I need to test the Rilo next. I've been really busy. The weather's been crappy and the days are really short here. So I get home from work and there's no way I can ride. So I have to wait for the weekends. And if the weather's bad, there's just no way I can get out there. So I need to test the Rilo next, play around with this guy. Once I have the Rilo done, I can pretty much breeze through it because I already have a ton of... It's fine. I already have a ton of footage on the Fusion. I have a decent amount of footage on this Insta360 and then I'm starting to collect some good footage on the One X. So hopefully... Once I get through the Rilo, the weather starts getting better, and I'm working with cameras that I'm more familiar with. Also, not so, make the quality better if you can, and not so blue. So I can definitely take a look. I'll leave some comments on the videos there. As far as blue, definitely. Oh, I do have a suggestion. So let me look up something here real quick. So there's something called white balance, which a lot of people use in the camera, you know, the color temperature, it's also called. But there's another thing you can do here. These are great to have in your pocket. This is actually what I recommended for Paul the Punter, because if you don't know, Paul the Punter is actually colorblind. So color correcting is actually really hard for him because he doesn't see colors the same way you and I do. So what this is, these are white balance cards. There are many ways to use this. The most basic way is this. Hold this guy in front of your camera, either the white or the gray card, not the black card. I usually just kind of sprawl them out a little bit like playing cards, so that way I get all three. And just hold it in front of your camera for like 5 seconds. And you do need to make sure that you set the white balance correctly in the camera. So definitely go online and learn about setting white balance correctly, figuring out, as a rule of thumb, if it's sunny out, 5500 Kelvin is the correct setting. Though if you're in the PNW where you spend a lot of time in the shade, that might change. But there's a ton of great videos on there. Definitely learn about that. So what these cards are for is if you set the white balance in your camera correctly, but you're still getting kind of like this weird blue tinge, you hold this in front of your camera. It doesn't do anything to the camera. If your editing software supports it, there should be a way to adjust the color balance or the white balance. And sometimes you have an eyedropper and you can literally just pause the video and then put the eyedropper on the white or the gray card, and it should automatically get it pretty close. It won't be perfect, but it'll get it pretty close. And if it still looks a little off, you might be able to use the sliders. If you're using like GoPro Studio, I don't know if that has a white balance setting. If your computer is powerful enough, DaVinci Resolve is a free application. It has a learning curve like a brick wall, so definitely watch a lot of videos on it before you install it and try to do anything, because even as someone who has used editing software for multiple years, when I hopped into DaVinci for the first time, I was like, I have no idea what any of these buttons do. Where am I? All right, so that was a little bit of a tangent. Hopefully that helps, dude. Let's see. Do you respond to Instagram direct messages? I plan on asking for some YouTube advice later on. Alan, the best way to get a hold of me is actually go on to trailfeatures.com. There's a contact form, or you can go to my About page. I have an email address. That's a better place to email me or ask me those types of questions, because usually it's a long answer. And it sometimes takes me a few days to like type up a response, whether because I'm busy or just because I need to like do some research and like kind of figure out what you're asking. So that's the best way. SP Gadgets make a great cell phone mount attached to GoPro style mount. Cool. Cool to know. Hey, how about that GT? How about it? It's still awesome. The camera stuff had to take kind of the forefront because I only have so much time to play around with these cameras. The Rilo and the Garmin were lent to me, and I've been holding on to them for too long. The GT content will resume as soon as I get some camera stuff out, but it is going great. Bike mechanic. Oh, okay, you're talking to KW. Cool. Okay, here we go. Hang on. Everyone's asking about the beer. I guess since I said I would finish up in about the next 10 minutes, I will go ahead and just slam the stupid beer, because it's getting late anyways. Cheers to 7,000 subscribers. Drink responsibly, kids. All right. Yes, MTB Trail Magic Resolve, like I said, it has a learning curve like a brick wall, but once you learn it, it's pretty easy. It's pretty standard. A lot of this stuff is universal. Just figuring out where all the options are. All right, MLC disappeared. Might have to message him later. But, excuse me. For those that are having the same problem, MLC is likely using too low of a bit rate at 4K, the resolution that he's uploading to. A bit rate of 10 is pretty low. I would recommend at least uploading at a bit rate of 40. If your internet connection is pretty slow, you have to kind of figure out what your tolerance is on waiting for it to upload, because the higher the bit rate, the better the quality, but the bigger the file. So, of course, it's a trade-off. But 40 is the minimum, I would say, for 4K if you have fast upload speeds or you're willing to let your computer run overnight. 60 to 80 bits, megabit per second is the bit rate that I would recommend for 4K. What's my favorite GoPro? Quite honestly, the Hero 4 still. Thing's a freaking tank. The audio sounds great. They're wicked cheap. And gimbals are still pretty cheap. Don't get me wrong, the Hero 7 does a lot of great stuff, but the audio is not as good. And I don't know, digital image stabilization has just never been my favorite. But they're definitely getting better. I would not say that buying a Hero 7 is a bad idea. Alan C, no problem, man. Glad. That's why I hopped on. I want to try to bestow knowledge. Although I can get a little rambly. Yeah, I can still slam beers even in my old age of 33. Made a whole bunch of people annoyed there. Triggered. All right. Well, guys, thanks for hopping on. This was a little bit of a random one. Definitely appreciate all the people that left questions. Hopefully I helped quite a few of you content creators out, or just people who are mildly curious about camera stuff. And definitely thank you for all the super chats. Really appreciate that. And once again, thanks for 7,000 subscribers. It's been an amazing journey. Looking forward to hitting the next milestones. Although at this point, I just enjoy making content for y'all and helping people out with camera problems. That's kind of the direction I've been going, and I think I'll stay with that. It's working pretty well. MTP Scotland, oh man, you just showed up in time for the sign-off. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, and you missed me finishing off a beer too. So if you haven't noticed, I've been leaving my live streams as unlisted, which means that you can go back and watch them via the notification. Excuse me, that beer was trying to come back up. Not in that way, though. Just, you know, effervescence. Anyways, I've been leaving my live streams as unlisted, so that way the superfans can find it through the notifications, but the YouTube algorithm gets annoyed at live streams, apparently. So I just leave them unlisted for people who want to go back and find them to find them. But it's kind of one of those things where you have to catch them. And I'll try to be better about announcing them, but sometimes I just get a wild idea and I decide to do it. Like tonight, I had my camera set up, so I decided, hey, let's make use of all this nonsense and have fun with it. How much money do I... oh, are you asking me how much money I have? Enough. Enough. Not too little, not too much, just enough. 3:34 a.m. Dude, go to bed. You guys are up too late. How often do I stream? And thank you again for the super chat, man. You don't need to keep doing that. I can keep up with the chats, but I appreciate it. How often do I stream? I don't know. I don't really have a set schedule. Usually it's just something where I feel like firing up and having a conversation. Sometimes when I'm working on bikes, sometimes when I'm working on camera gear, sometimes when I just want to stop and say hi. Bikes and trails, you missed everything. Sorry, buddy. It was about camera stuff, so hopefully I answered one of the questions in this live stream. You can watch the replay. Like I said, it's unlisted, so as long as you have the notification, you can go back and find it. Up for work start at 4 a.m. Well, forget that. Hats off to you, man, because I couldn't get up that early. Anyways, y'all, thanks again for hopping in the live stream. Hope I helped y'all out. And until next time, get out there and find your next adventure. Have a good night.